Hi everybody, this is Liz with 143 Handmade, and I'm here today to do some of the decorating and the closure and whatnot of this journal. This is part 4 of a how I got started making journals and intro to making journals type video series. I'm not being able to spit out. I can't think right now. I don't know why I'm not being able to think of the right words, but let's see. That looks really pretty. And that adds a nice lacy touch to it. So let's go ahead and trim this guy off. And trim that edge up here. Make it just a little bit straighter. I like the ratty edges sometimes, but sometimes I want it just a little bit straighter and a little bit neater. So there we go. Okay. And then I'm just going to glue it on. So let's see, is there front and back? Yeah, I like that side better. So, and this is Fabri-Tac, so it's made for gluing fabric to fabric. And I'm just going to use just a very small amount and just touch it along here. But honestly, white glue would work too. And you might get a little goopy, you know, you just got to experiment and try it. That's the whole point of doing this, is you're trying, you're experimenting, and it's okay if it doesn't work out. It's just a little bit of paper, a little bit of glue, you know, a little bit of time, but you've now learned something. So now I'm going to go ahead and add glue to this edge over here. Just a little bit, just kind of dabbing it on. It doesn't take much. The stuff is pretty fabulous that way. So I'm going to pick it up, neatly place 1/2 roughly where it needs to go, and then set down the other half. So there we go. See? And I mean, I could have wrapped that all the way around and taken it to the inside. That would have looked really cute too. I just didn't think about it until just now. And I will probably come back and add a little something along this edge to help hold it in. Another piece of ribbon of some sort. But for right now, we're going to switch and we're going to concentrate on working on this closure, because I already have that part figured out. So right about here in the middle, what I would do is bring back in my punching mat and flip the book cover open, so that way I'm only punching through the cover. And grab my pokey tool, and you could totally do this with a sharp needle, or just the tip of an X-Acto knife, or you know, any number of things, just whatever you have that you can poke stuff with. Will totally work. Let's see, and you don't want to go too close to the edge, so I'm going to go about a 1/2 inch back, and I'm going to poke a hole. And again, I'm going to make sure that I get it all the way down onto the shaft, kind of waller it out a little bit, and put that away. Flip this back around. And I have my handy dandy little case here. Now this case I got super cheap over there in the scrapbooking area at some point. I've added to it though, and taken, obviously used out of it, so it's not 100% what was in there to begin with. Some of this stuff has been added, like the little paper flowers here were not there to begin with. But I was thinking that would look super cute. Stick it on there like that. Okay, well first let's just get the flower on to the brad, and then I've folded the lace over so that way we have the nicer, softer edge up against our skin. And then I'm just sticking it through some of the holes in the lace right up by the edge. You could totally, you know, adhere this in a lot of different ways. This is just the one way that I decided to do it today. So bring it through and then fold our brad out. And then I will cover this up on the inside in a few minutes. But then pull this around. And I intentionally left this a little bit on the long side, so that way I could really, you know, I had plenty. So I could just leave it super bunchy like that on the front if I wanted. or I had the length. What I think I'm actually going to do, yeah, this itch definitely needs to be anchored down somehow, is I'm going to go ahead and cut it just shy of the bottom here. Okay, here's this flower motif. I like to cut in between the flowers. I know that's kind of silly, isn't it? But that's how I roll. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach up here, and I have a container of, or a couple of containers of buttons. So this one's actually marked novelty buttons, and this one is wooden buttons. So I'm not sure which look I'm going to go for. Let's see. That looks nice, but not very purpley. I don't have a lot of purple tone in here. Yeah. Not loving those. Those are all the wrong colors, aren't they? So, just kind of go through here. That one looks nice. So that's a definite possibility. Let me see. Nope, nope. You know, and if you wanted a pop of color, you know, you could totally do that. I want something that's a little bit more matchy. So that's the container out of that container, and now we're going to open this container. In this container, I find it's just so much easier to just dump out. And then, you know, to see what's in there, because I've got all kinds of different shapes. So, let's see, we've got a popsicle that would totally work. Some kites that are in the right color family. That kind of matches. That's kind of pretty. And there's this. That's, you know, heart's always pretty. It's just a white flower. Okay, not the USAs. They're cute, but just not for this. Don't want to use any of my tiger faces or, you know, wolf or animals. Although these little kittens are super cute. Here's a cupcake that's also in the right color family. So we'll stick it up there. Don't want these blues. There's another animal. And there's those flowers. I don't think I want the contrasting kite. Let's see. Oh, he's kind of pretty. Or she's pretty. That green. It pops, but it's not overwhelming. And then let's see. I think most of the rest of these are too small. Let's another animal. It says sheriff on it. That would be a funny contradiction there, wouldn't it? All lace and whatnot. Let's see. I don't like the happy faces in this case. Yeah. Or the goatee. And then the rest of these are just too small to give it the weight that I'm looking for. Because what I'm looking to do is add a little bit of weight to the end of that lace. So that way when you wrap it around, you know, it's got something that'll tuck behind there and kind of hold it. So we've got some options. Now we just got to decide what we want to do. I kind of like these, and I like the idea of hanging on to them for a project, because I do have 3 of them. So, and I don't really want to use all 3 in here. So those look like something that should go in like a more permanent, bigger journal. Again, I have a set of these. So, and they're kind of deep. I'm not real sure how I would anchor that together real well. So we'll go ahead and skip those flowers. Let's see. Do we want to go with the flower and the popsicle? Or do we want to just go with the cupcake? Or just this guy? Because I think just this guy would work too. It has the hole going this way, so how I will anchor it if I decide to go with this one is I will just put it like this, and then I will just run several pieces of thread around it like so. You know, maybe even put a little bit of a dab of glue on the back first to kind of help the lace lay right. Let's see. Or do we like this? I don't know, I think that's a little bit on the lightweight side now that I've held that other one up there. So, I'm going to put that guy away back in his little jar. And let's see. Decisions, huh? Cupcake with the flower, with the pop of color. Let's see. I kind of like that, but I kind of feel like it needs a little something else. So let me see here. I have this another container. I have a ton of containers of buttons. If you watch my organization videos that I did not too long ago, you'll see I have a wall, a whole shelf full of buttons. What if we were to put that guy on first and then this guy on top? Nah, that's not going to work that well. Let's see. Those are all kind of the same color, aren't they? That's a weird button. That's pretty. It's a little flowy, but the button part's busted, so it just needs to be glued down. So we'll go ahead and set those guys up there since we have them out. Let's see. Well, that's a pretty button. Let's see, what if we were to put that guy on the one side and then maybe put one of these guys on the other side, so it's gives it that weight. No, I don't like the way that the back of that big button looks. Let's see, what if we just went with one of these plain ones that's basically the same on both sides? Yeah, I like that. That'll give it some weight, but not bulk. Well, in bulk, but not visual bulk. Let's see, do we like that? Teeny tiny button on top. Tone down that purple a little bit. Or add that one. Ooh, I like that one. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. I'll get my buttons put away. You know. But sometimes you just got to throw them all out there and see what sticks, you know. Throw them all at it. Let's see which one sticks. Let's see. I'll be right back. I have to go get my needle and thread. Everybody, I'm back. I have pulled out some fresh needles because I need something that's got a decently large eye on it, but is also small enough to fit through the the holes on the buttons. So, and I've just got some embroidery floss here, and you really don't need much to sew on buttons. This is just, you know, to give the end of this just a little bit of weight. And so what I'm actually going to do is open it up so that way I have the end of it a little bit, you know, more free. And I'm going to fold it over. Let's see. Just like about like that. About the width of the button, so that way the buttons are on 2 layers of fabric instead of just one. And before I get that going, what I'm going to do is just stick my needle in about where they're going to be. And see, I didn't tie a knot or anything, because what I'm going to do is, okay, I went this way. Now I'm going to go the opposite direction. But before I pull that loop all the way down, I'm going to make sure to catch that tail in that loop, and then I'll pull it tight. I'll pull this tight. And there you go. You formed yourself a little knot. And if you want to be extra secure, what you can do is cross the threads like that. Then I use the needle to help me get it through because it's kind of a small hole there. Hold these ends and knot your thread again. So there we go. And then sometimes I would leave the tail. This time I'm going to go ahead and make it a little neater. Trim off that tail just a little bit, and I'm going to tab just a tiniest tack. Actually, I'm just going to use the tacky bit on the outside of this glue bottle instead of squeezing out some more, just to help make sure that that knot stays good. Okay, now this is the button for on the back side. I believe, let me make sure that I have it the right direction. That way the lace can lay the correct way. Yeah, that'll be fine. It's going to twist a little bit as it goes through there anyways. It'll be fine. Any way it goes through. And then we just slide the one button on. Get it where we want it. And then go back through. And I'm going to go ahead and grab my bigger button for the front. And then come back through. Now getting through all of these different layers can be a little tricky. Don't feel like you need to do it in one fell swoop. Go ahead and, you know, pull it back like that so you can really see what you're doing. Get that untwisted. Make sure everything pulls nice and tight. Taunt, but you don't want to be yanking on it, you know. I mean, it's just a button and lace here, people. Come on. So, then we push it through. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I did it once with just the big buttons, and now I'm going to go ahead and add my little button. Now this little button has 4 holes instead of the 2 holes, so I want to decide which way I want to deal with that. I'm going to make it go kind of angled instead of, you know, instead of choosing side by side, I'm going to have it be angled so that way it stays pretty centered, and I think that looks super cute. And then I'm going to try and go through all those layers one more time. All 3 buttons and the lace. Okay. Now I'm going to flip it back over here to the back and go through just the first button, hopefully. Hopefully. We'll get the needle to cooperate. And go, hopefully there's enough room. No, not that way. Let's see. Maybe? Nope. Let's see. Okay, well I guess we're just going to go through everything again. And let's see. How am I going to tie this off? There it goes. Okay, I got it from the front. You just want to get it through one side without going through the other side of buttons, and that can be a little tricky. You don't want to, you know, bind it up too much. I was looking for my pliers, but I'm not seeing them. But so there we go, and now it's underneath the back button. And then I like to just wrap it around like so, just once, and then I will stick it through, and that creates a knot. And if you want to be extra secure, you do it again from a different angle, you know. There we go. And then we snip our thread. The smaller scissors would make that easier to get in there. There we go. And we've got our closure. And this is how it looks when it's all done. Pop this guy through here like so. And those buttons will weight it down so that way that lace doesn't just come popping back up out of there. And so that's how the closure I decided to go with. So I'm going to go ahead. I know I said decorate, but this video's, I'm not sure how long it is at this point. So we're going to go ahead and stop for there. And then I will come back with part 5 and do some more decorating. Thank you so much for joining me. I know this is kind of dragging out. I thought it would be quicker than this. So I greatly appreciate your time.